Alright, so this question, a box is dropped from a rest. This box takes 0.75 seconds to hit the ground, and you have to figure out the height from which the box is dropped. So I've obviously highlighted all the variables that they've given me, so let's start writing those down. So V0 from rest, 0. The box takes 0.75, so that's another fact. And then what we're trying to find is S, so there we go. Alright, so basically what you have to do is also consider the acceleration, because you need 4 facts. And then figure out which equation we'll use. Oh, -2. So we are missing velocity, so we obviously use missing value v, which is the last equation. S equals v0 t plus half a t squared. Alright, so let's sub those values in. S is going to be v0, which is 0, so that kind of cancels out. Half a is -9.8. My t is 0.75 squared. Alright, so if I put that in the calculator, that will give me -2.8 meters. Now, the reason it has negative as my answer is because that's what the ball did. So the ball dropped -2.8 meters. So you can actually conclude that the height is just going to be the positive version of that, which is 2.8 meters. That's how you conclude that one. Let's have a look at B. Calculate the speed of the box just before it hits the ground. Okay, so let's write some things down. So my V is the question mark, because that's what we want to find. Ooh. My T is the 0.75 seconds. My acceleration is still the same. And my V0 is still the same. Keep writing 1 to that. Alright, so what are we missing? Well, we are missing the S, so we can use that one, which is the V equals V0 equation. Alright, so my V is simply going to be, that cancels out, -9.8 times 0.75. And if you chuck that in the calculator, you get -7.35 meters per second, and that's your answer. Let's see, calculate the speed of the box halfway down to the ground. Okay, so halfway down to the ground, we want to figure out the speed. Alright, so how are we going to do this question is, first of all, we have to tackle what we're trying to find. So we're trying to eventually find the V. Halfway down to the ground, so that will be halfway of the time. So that will be 0.75 divided by 2. So that's halfway. But that's 0.75 divided by 2. What else can I use? My acceleration. Oh, again. But my V0 is 0. And 1, 2, 3, 4 facts. Actually, instead of using time, because we don't necessarily know that it was, although we do know that it's a constant acceleration, we don't necessarily know the time, so maybe I'll scribble that out now and you'll see why. My distance is just simply going to be, halfway down, so my height was 2.8, so that's going to be half of that, which is 1.4 meters. So using S data instead of the T data is just going to be a little bit more accurate. So we are missing a T, so we use this equation over here. v squared is v naught squared plus 2as. So let's put those values in. V squared is, that goes away. 2 lots of these, 1.4. Alright, so my v is just going to be the square root of that. Now technically, because it's speed and not velocity, I'm actually going to take this negative out of this equation, because you know technically the direction doesn't matter, because you can't actually have a square root negative number inside a square root, so it wouldn't actually give you an answer. But you know, we're doing speed, so we can kind of ignore the positives and the negatives, so I've got rid of it. So all I have to do is chuck that in the calculator, and you should get about 5.2 meters per second.